Well, I've got a really good opportunity now to talk to Kyle Smith from Smith Concepts, who was fortunate enough to have the job to actually repaint, and I'm going to let him tell us the story about that on King Cad. So, morning, mate.
Morning, mate.
Thanks for coming in early and
no problem at all.
Getting
Happy
out.
To be here. Happy to be here.
Cool. So, mate, tell us a little bit about what's been going on.
For the past couple of years now, we've been, I guess, trying to refine and I guess rediscover this car in a way that we could pay legacy to Mario, what he built, going back over 20 years ago now.
Yeah, we spoke about that yesterday. It was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit more from when he originally sort of set, I guess, the task to build this beautiful custom that's here in front of us today. And the biggest thing with this job was to pay, I guess, legacy and a nice tribute, and to honour what Mario had built, so that it stood the test of time once again. And it wasn't to go and change the colour radically. It wasn't to change it to orange or green. Or
I was going to say, it's like a subtle version of what it was.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's always what it was. You'll see on the show board here, we've actually said, it's forever evolving, and it's to pay homage and just to keep a legacy going for Mario. He'll be with us forever. Tragically lost a good man, and we wanted to just have this as a bit of a legacy,
So the car itself obviously came to you as a complete car. Just
it did,
sort
yes.
of work us through what was required then to be able to do what you've done.
Yeah, so the car came to us. It did have some damage on it, and it was just a little bit of damage that came in for sort of insurance work at the time. We had to fix some parts on the car, and as we started to sort of delve deeper, and we found a few little bits, and I suggested to the owner, Joe, who owns the car now, who was a good friend of Mario's, Andy's, and I think there's no better fit for someone to own this car but him. And it came in, and look, the body was great. It was a good body. We just obviously had to take everything back, see what was underneath, and then set our task in the way that we did.
And to do that, obviously, had to disassemble the car.
Disassemble the whole car. So the car came in, as you see it today, as a complete unit. And from there we had to take everything off, all the chrome, trim work, interior out, everything in the boot, everything in the engine bay, the whole lot came off the car. And then from there we set the task of smoothing, redefining body lines, keeping everything look the classic shape.
And you're saying things like screws and stuff that, it ages, 20 years.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It's you might start out with a stainless bolt or whichever screw or nut or Allen key head, and over 20 years, they do tarnish. And every one that we pulled out, we tried to make a little bit nicer, and just add a little bit more to the car as we were putting it back together as well.
So all the chrome and that was still good.
The chrome was great. Yeah, the boys in the shop, my fantastic team that worked for me. Without them, I couldn't do this either. Got all of these parts and everything on the bench, and we just polished and once again redefined the parts that we had, and the chrome was fantastic on the car. The stainless is good, so it was just about just bringing it up and getting those little tarnish marks off it, and bringing it back into fashion.
So tell us about the process for the paint then.
Yeah, so with this job we worked extremely hard with PPG, an absolutely fantastic company. They came on board and sponsored this project. And an absolute awesome company to deal with. They've been fantastic to me and my business throughout this. So from the ground and the roots up of the car, starting from epoxies and working our way up through the high field primers, everything's PPG. The candies, the base coat, the clear coats, we have to actually have their beautiful Opti-Clear on this car, and everything's colour sanded, sliced, buffed out to show quality. But yeah, all the way from those epoxy processes and all the way up, which when you separate a car and you pull it all down, there's a lot to it, and that process has to be done right.
So the fade outs.
Yep. So we painted the whole car, and it is a one-off car colour for this car. So it's not something that you can go and buy off the shelf, but PPG are always happy to mix up something similar. They're fantastic like that. Out at their training centre, we come up with a colour. And then we started to do the fades, which are obviously different versions of the original colour. It has a nice blue candy up from the bottom, so it comes up around 8 inches from the bottom of the car, blends into the original blue. Over the fins and down the front of the car, we actually added a washed white, so another PPG colour, which we put into a binder, and everything's activated on this, so all the base coats, we activated all the base coats, so it locks everything in nice and solid, all the way through our clear coats and so on.
So that activation is actually, they add hardener to the base coat, where it's normally in a traditional, panel shop,
yes,
it doesn't have a hardener, so
just
it's a little custom trick that they do.
Yeah, and just so that everything locks on, so the next coat that's going on top then has the same hardener the whole way through the process.
So then the whole thing gets sanded again.
It does, yep, colour sanded again, put back together.
Colour sanded, 1200, 15, 3000, yep. Polish,
yep, the whole way through. And then, the week and a half it took to polish the whole car, and it was just...
Oh, you get some fade outs on the dash as well?
Yeah, the dash, all the panels through the car as well.
And you
all have the same sort of fade, so all the way through the tops of the insides of the doors as well.
Oh, okay.
Has the same fade that you'll see there. And it was just about trying to, bring the inside out and the outside in, just to keep...
And I heard you telling someone that under the bonnet's the same with the rocker covers?
It's the same, yeah. So originally the radiator, the rocker covers, the air filter, firewall, everything was painted in the blue. So obviously when we changed the colour, everything had to be done again. So all those parts came off. From there, we then sanded, rubbed, and just everything that was the original colour is now no longer.
And to do those fade outs, you're also telling me that you sort of got to paint the car, then comes apart, goes back together, do the fades out, comes apart, goes back together.
That's right. So I think the process was about 4 times. We put this back together as a complete car, then pulled it back down.
Yeah.
And then we did it again, and then the fade was done. Then we cleared the whole thing off, we put it back together again, made sure all the gaps and everything are back to where it needs to be. So on, just carried on doing it until we were happy, and then for the final time, we hope we didn't have to do it again.
Mate, look, thanks very much for that. I mean,
thank you, Hal.
People don't necessarily understand how much work there is
they don't.
on these big custom jobs, and the fact that it was a complete car, it still didn't make it any easier, because it's still got to all come apart and be done.
And it's one thing that I like to do in my shop and my business is we take on complete cars, and I like to give complete cars back to customers. Yeah, so it's one thing to paint a car and to give the car back to the customer all in pieces for them to assemble. And
so tell us a little bit about the shop. While we're at it,
my business, Smith Concepts, has been running now for around about just under 15 years. We do custom paint work down to restoration style paint work. We try and keep everything at a high quality, including products we use. We don't sort of skimp on anything. We try to do everything right, so that longevity comes into play and you don't have to do it again.
Very cool. And of course the car that I've filmed many times and featured on our show is the flames on the single spinner that went over to Moon Eyes as well.
Yep, absolutely.
So mate, you're getting around?
Thank you. No, we're just trying to do the right thing, and we like to get the cars out there and on the street and back to the customers so they can be seen by everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
No worries, thank you.